Tom here, FlipAnything. Just got a call. Chiropractor that I see. We were just talking the other day when he was giving me an adjustment, and he had actually wanted to rent from me at one time, but we couldn't make it work. Then he found this other little place. It was kind of a neat little 1,000 square foot spot off the side of the road. He was asking me what I thought it was worth, and he was surprised that I thought it was worth as much as as I think it is. And so anyways, he's happily renting, but he'd like to buy something like that. Well, that's why I say it's good to stay in touch with people, because they'll think of you. Well, he just called. I actually haven't talked to him. He called and left a message. And with that message, he said, "Hey, Tom, I know this guy. He's got 3 little 1,300, 1,200 square foot, like three approximately 1,200 square foot individual buildings on one piece of property. Wants 700 and something thousand. He said, here's his number, you may call him." So I called him, and I'm going to meet this guy right now. And he said, he kind of told me what he'd take in the sevens. And right now, in my mind, it seems like it could be a decent deal. I know about where it is. I don't know the property exactly, but I know about where it is. It's about a half acre, 18 parking spots, between 3,600 square feet, which is about right for commercial parking, or office parking, or really just about any business parking. You need a minimum of about 4 parking spots per 1,000 square feet. So if he's got 18 parking spots, that's really approximately enough for about 4,500 square feet. So, and this is 3,600 square feet. So parking sounds good for the amount of building there is. Now, the reason I like this, I normally wouldn't be crazy about spending $700,000 on 3,600 square feet. Okay, that's about $200 a foot. But the reason I like it is because it's 3 separate buildings. Even if that's all on one piece of property, I can create a condo regime, and I can make that a 3-unit condominium complex, and which means I can sell those off individually. And so you have what people refer to as the economies of scale. So in other words, you might have a 10,000 square foot building here and a 20,000 square foot building here, and the 20,000 square foot building is appraised less per foot. That's an example of an economies of scale, because your costs go down to create it, etc. But and sometimes your rents too. But anyways, long story short, I can take those 3 units and I can turn it into a condo regime, and now I can sell those off individually as individual units, and I might be able to push that number up to $250 a foot. And so in that situation, I could maybe get, just say I get $310,000 per unit, and I'm only going to pay roughly 720,000, maybe 700,000. So you can maybe make, and doing a condo regime, let me tell you how simple it is. It's as simple as just creating paperwork. It's that simple. It's really not hard at all. And they already presumably they each have their own meter. As long as they have their own meters, everything's going to be cool. But so in my mind, if I can, turn those into a condo regime, sell it for $300,000 a unit, buy it for $700,000, then I can make $200,000, or just say $150,000 after I do some fix-ups or things, or maybe I'll sell it for $1 million. So haven't even seen it yet. Already, I like to think, though, I have fun thinking about, the fantasy of it. Did really good on the last little property I bought. So anyhow, I'm on my way. If the gentleman that's selling it, if he's not there yet, I'll break out the camera. If he's already there waiting for me, I will not break out the camera. I'll break it out on another day. But So that's it for now, and we'll see. Stay tuned. Next stop is the camera, and the property. All right. Well, I just got here. Not exactly what I expected. I mean, it's not too far off, but I'm actually starting at the back of the property. And you can see there's the building behind me. And there's another one on my left. Yeah, it's on the going to work side of the road too, which I'm not crazy about. But we'll see. Pretty narrow. Yep, I don't think it's gonna work. If it was a little more frontage, it'd be different. Okay, so Tom, I'm following up. So I kind of gave you a little view. I kind of gave you a little tour of that, the 3 units on the half acre, and so I'm following up to that because I pulled out the phone and the camera, and I kind of, I kept this selfie stick that I have here kind of on the down low as I walk through that property. And I don't know if you noticed, but the owner of that property had pulled up right about the same time I was finishing up. So I just wanted to share with you how I kind of analyzed that property. I was hoping that it was a little wider and that maybe all 3 buildings had some presence on the street. It didn't. It had a lot of concrete and curb work, which I liked because I like concrete, and he'd already been through, he went through all the hassles he had to go through to get that okayed. So, but here's my analysis on that. You got 3 properties. You got one that has nice frontage in the front. That was some sort of alterations, bridal and alterations business. Then there was 2 buildings behind that. One kind of behind that one, and then one at the very back of the property. And so that front property is worth about $200 a foot. The 2 properties behind it, no more than $1 a foot. I'm sorry, I say $1 a foot, meaning that's what it would rent for. And when I say $1 a foot, I do a multiplier of 100. So if I can rent something for $1 a foot, the most I'll pay is $100 a foot. If I pay $50 a foot, I expect to get 50 cents a foot. So in my opinion, that property, the front one, if the front's worth is 1,500 square feet, that is worth about $200,000 or $300,000, $200 a foot. The 2 that were behind it, they have no frontage, so they don't get the benefit of frontage. They have a sign out front, but it's not the same. So, but it's still decent neighborhood. So I figured those are worth $1 a foot. So if the 2 in the back are, 200, and just say that the 2 in the back are roughly, I think they're about 2,000 square feet, or maybe 2,500. So there's 250,000. And then the front unit, if it's roughly 1,500 square feet, then it's worth about 300. So 300 plus 250. So he's wanting 700 for that. I won't buy it. I don't even know if I'm interested, to be honest. It's not exactly what I like, but we'd have to be in the 500,000 area for me to be interested in that. And then I would still do what I talked about. I'd break it into condos, and I'd sell them off individually to people that actually could use them, because a buyer would pay a premium for it. Renting those doesn't look so fun. And like I said earlier in the video, I just watched it myself to refresh my memory, but it's on the going to work side of the road. I don't like that. So anytime you're looking at properties that are in like a little retail area, people have time to stop and go into a business on the way home. They don't have time to stop in on the way to work. Now maybe if it was a restaurant, it was a breakfast place or a donut house or Starbucks, that would be different. I'd want on the work side if I was going to place a Starbucks or a coffee shop type of business in, but this doesn't lend itself to that type of business. Those are going to be like a CPA, or like there is a bridal area, there's an appliance repair place. Those are more places that you'd stop in on your way on your way home, or after work, or on the way home from work. So final analysis on that property is that I don't think it's worth more than about 500 to maybe 525,000. And even at that, breaking it into a little condo regime, you know, maybe I'd make 130 grand or something. And it's probably, I think he said he'd carry a note, so that, depending on how much he'd carry the note for, or how much of a note he would carry, if he, you know, if he was going to carry 80% of it, it would make it more attractive, especially if I could make that assumable between the various tenants that I would, or the property owners that I would resell that to. So I'll probably let it sit for a few days, and I may call him back and see what he wants to do. But actually, I kind of got my eyes on, or my hopes are to find something a lot bigger than that, and a little more commercial looking than, you know, those are kind of like housing structures that have been converted over. They're not the best. They're okay. I mean, I have a lot of properties like that, to be honest, and they make fine insurance offices and real estate offices. But 2 of those buildings don't have a presence on the street because they're behind the main building. So anyways, I don't think I'm interested, and if I do call him back, I'll probably offer him like 500, and I'll explain to him why I feel the way I do. And I know he can't argue with it, and I know he's not getting $2 a foot for those ones in the back, so you know, it just doesn't really pencil, to be quite honest. But it doesn't mean we can't make a deal. So never be afraid, you know, as long as you're talking facts to somebody. You know, I don't like insulting people's property. I don't think it's say, oh, well, you know, this doesn't have this and this. That's shitty. I don't do that, and I don't recommend you do it. If somebody acts like that with me, I just say, hey, take off. I'm not going to sell it to you anyways. But what you can say is, well, hey, how much do you think we could get for this? And, you know, if they're asking only $1 a foot, we'll say, you know, if you're only getting $1 a foot, it's hard to justify paying you more than $100 a foot. And, you know, you can kind of run through the math with people, and then they're kind of go, you know what, maybe you're right. And then they soften up because you're just reasoning with them. And that's really the approach. You just don't want to be disrespectful. I've seen people just kind of act like, forget that, and oh, that's no good, and oh, it's terrible access. And, you know, just talk about what's good about the property, but you can kind of act like it's a problem solver thing you're saying, you know, like, hey, in order to pay $200 a foot, I need to get $2 a foot. How do we get that? How can I get that? You know, what do you think about, you know? And then they'll reason that, oh yeah, maybe I'm just a little bit too high. So that's how I would play it. So anyways, I just, you know, this isn't probably going to turn into anything, but nevertheless, it's still kind of a good exercise in the lessons to share with you. Because, you know, most times you do go look at a property, it's not going to be one that you get a steal or get a, you know, great deal on. But sometimes you can, you know, you talk and you make it into one. And who knows, maybe I'll talk to this guy, and 3 months from now he'll call me back and he'll say, hey, you know, you're right, take it for 500,000. You never know. But by being civil and decent with him and respectful, you know, he'll remember me, and you know, and if he changes his mind and wants to do something, you know, he'll call me because he likes me, or presumably he'll like me because I was you know, a nice guy to him. So that's it for now. And FlipAnything USA, and if you're just watching the channel, you're just kind of sharing my adventures in in flipping and buying and holding. And this deal here that I'm sharing today, it's obviously probably not going to go anywhere, but you never know. But this is kind of how I work it, and I'd like to share how I do it, and hopefully that others will do it too. And hope you all make a lot of money, and just don't be afraid to try. If you don't buy a lottery ticket, you can't win the lottery, right? So you got to buy a ticket to win. So you got to try to make something happen. So I'm tired. It's late in the evening. I've had a movie since I've seen, and a couple beers since I saw that property. But I wanted to get this out and share it with you. So Flip Anything USA, please subscribe, please share, please ask questions, and I'll do my best to answer. And that's it for now. Bye.